It's been 4 years since the OBNE Sunlight pedal came out, and it's still one of my all-time favorite reverbs. They just released a new version that's basically a complete redesign with stereo, MIDI, and presets. It's a reverb that responds to your playing dynamics, and it modulates in really interesting ways. It could sound like this. Like this. And it can also sound like this. They also updated the pedal's architecture to include these 3 buttons over here, which makes the pedal really interesting, but we'll get more into that a little bit later. The original Sunlight had 3 modes. This one does not have any modes, but it gives you everything you would need to create really similar sounds to the previous version, and you can combine elements from the original modes and just do a ton more stuff. So this is really just a reverb with a filter and a delay that's after the reverb, but what's really interesting is how this all works together. So these are the reverb controls over here, and the filter is really straightforward, and more highs come through the more you turn it up. If you turn the delay time down, it can feel more like a flanger, and you can get modulation that's made by those short delay times. And this is the feedback for the delay over here. All of this starts to get really interesting when you start to modulate everything. This section over here is for the LFO, but these knobs won't do anything until you use them with these 3 buttons. For example, if you press the button next to the filter will start to move automatically. And you can set the rate, depth, and waveform like this. If you press the time button, the delay time will start to go up and down, and the same thing applies to the wet signal. And you can mix and match these however you want. My favorite thing to use the LFO on is synth. If you use the random square wave, it can kind of make chords feel like they're sequenced and give them some interesting movement. It can also do the same thing on guitar with single notes, and it can give you a really interesting rhythm to play along to. And you can also sync the time with MIDI if you're playing on a track with other instruments. Sunlight has a dynamic element to it, and so far throughout this video, the dynamics knob has been in the center, which means that it does nothing. If you turn the knob to the left, your playing dynamics control the speed of the modulation, and if you keep turning it left, you can adjust the sensitivity. When you turn the dynamics knob to the right, reverb only plays on your loud notes, and you can keep turning it right to adjust the sensitivity. This dynamic element can be really cool when you want your lighter notes to feel different without having to turn the pedal on and off. But my favorite way to use dynamics is with a drum machine. If I make the snare drum loud enough, the reverb will only happen when the snare hits, so it's a great way to have a really simple reverb setup for a drum machine. You can set the tempo of the LFO with MIDI, and you can subdivide that using the tempo knob. There is a ton more stuff you can do with this pedal, like turn it into a reverb tremolo, which sounds like this. Thank you so much to Old Blood Noise for sending me Sunlight Stereo and for sponsoring today's video. Remember when you dressed up as Sunlight?
Yeah, I didn't want to. I really didn't.
Yeah, but it was really good.
No, I mean,
this one looks better. Let's be real than you.